Hey, yeah, what's up? This Disciple Marshall Occurrence rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, anti-Freemason all day, anti-Great Gang Stalker all day. So this message basically is going to be about uh, America doesn't know how to raise up a king. America does not know how to raise up a king. The problem is anytime you find somebody that's great in America, America does not know how to properly preserve them. So they go about it by hood means and military means and all the means that are, that they're familiar with, you know. And when it comes to someone like me, you can't use those means. You can't use those the hood way of making, a king or testing somebody and all of that, and or the military means you can't go by that. You know, basically someone that's spiritual, that is a king or the equivalent of a king or a leader, they already have the goods. God has done the training. God has done what he needed to do to that person. But you want to come in and do your training and don't even communicate properly. They do their own way of training out of arrogance, thinking they're training you or testing you. In the actuality, history has proven that they do not know how to properly raise a king. When have you seen them do it? When have you seen America raise up a king? They never done it. And I'm gonna tell you why they never done it. Because they use either military tactics or hood tactics to raise up a king now. And they already have the goods. Listen to me closely, because I'm schooling you. You ain't schooling me. You know, they already got the goods. They don't need you to do anything. All they need you to do is be a machine, just like a recording artist. A recording artist can be made better in the case of a recording artist, but they already have the talent. They already have the raw talent. All they need is the machine. That's all they need. They need the record company to push out the songs and promote the music or whatever, get them in the studio, book the time for the studio and all of that, right? They just need the machine. They just need the brand, you know what I'm saying, that's already out there in the streets to push their brand. So it's the same thing with a king or a queen. They already have the goods. You don't need to make them. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to do a lot. They already have the raw talents and goods of a king, or a queen. And so America just goes the error that they make every time is that they go about it their own way. They go about it in their own kind of way. See, just like when you had Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., right? They both were definitely kings or spiritual leaders. No one likes to admit that we don't do everything, the things that we don't do perfectly, or the things that we don't do right, or the mistakes that we make in history. No one likes to admit the mistakes we made in history. The mistakes that we made with Martin Luther King Jr. is that we did not protect him enough. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but if you don't hear it, you'll still make the same mistakes. You didn't protect him good enough. Why was he at the Lorraine Motel? Everybody know the history. Why was he at that point? Why and where he was on fire? You know what I'm saying? Everybody was following him. Everything. Why was he? Why did nobody put money? Remind you, it was famous black people at the time that had money at the time. So it wasn't just like everybody was Pope. It was money among black people at that time. And that man was staying in a Lorraine motel, the equivalent of some local no brand motel. It wasn't even a chain. It wasn't even like a Days Inn. Why was he at a motel like that? He was already a king. He was already great at everything. He should have been somewhere a Ritz, the equivalent of Four Seasons, a Ritz or something, well away from the public with all those racist people. And if we do not learn from our mistakes, then we'll make the same mistakes. If we don't learn from history, what they say, it'll repeat itself, basically. So you don't leave your king vulnerable. Okay, that's what you did with Martin Luther King Jr. You left your king vulnerable. Okay, he should have never been in the Lorraine Motel. Malcolm X, he was a different situation. Okay, but he needed protection in a different way. He needed to make it needed to be made known that where he stood in the organization that he was in, and where he stood as far as his teachings and everything like that. He needed that kind of protection. That's what kind of protection he needed. But the bottom line is though they both were not properly protected as they needed to be. And it's the same thing with Tupac. Same thing with Tupac and the same thing with Biggie. Biggie should have never been in a situation where he was even approachable like that. And I know, and look, I know no one wants to admit, no one wants to, you know, be honest about the whole situation, but that is true. Like he should have being him in California, right? He should have had way more protection. I know everybody want to be like, ease the protection because you're not scared. He wasn't scared and things like that. Obviously he wasn't scared. He was there. He ain't had nothing to prove. He was already there. So that speaks. Biggie being in Los Angeles already showed that he wasn't scared. He wasn't scared of no Pac community, if you will. He wasn't scared of Tupac's community. So that being said, man, it should have been more protection. It should have been way more protection, but it wasn't. Saying same thing with Tupac. Everybody knew Tupac was a certain way. It would have been better to hurt his feelings and get him protected. You know what I'm saying? Because he was reasonable. He was a thinker. If he would have been corrected properly by the right people, he would have he would have basically he would have probably complied to what was reasonable. Remind you, his mom was a Black Panther, and so he would have complied with most with most information if it was reasonable. And he needed protection as far as instruction and it's different types of protection. And you can't control people, of course, yeah. But you can rage and have real passion to protect them. And it's just a matter of who wants to do it and not do it, or who's going to do it. But what I see is there's just no proper uh, protection up. There's no proper understanding of how to raise up a king. It's just it's no proper understanding about it. You know what I'm saying? It's an art to it, and you got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's already designed as a king by God, you don't want to go to war with somebody like that. You don't want to go to war with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? And some envious people will. They cartoons. They want to play games. You know what I'm saying? Like in my case, I'm a prophet of God. I don't claim to be a king per se, or um, but I'm a leader. I'm a prophet of God. I'm a spiritual leader. You know, um, so I have a leading. I can literally lead. But in my case, I've just been tested so much that You know what I'm saying? I have withdrawn myself from all the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Because how I feel is, people are testing you based on feeling like that they're above you, and they gonna check you out, see who you are, and they gonna but they don't have any rewards. See, the problem is when the black community tests you, they don't give you a reward like you should. Like, even if you test a dog, you play around with the dog a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Then you give them a treat. You know, they test you and then it's nothing. It's no rewards. And so my thing is this, like, for all OGs, and I've done a message on that. It's somewhere in my archives of my videos. OGs that don't give out rewards are not OGs to me. OGs that don't give out opportunities and rewards are not OGs. It's not just about being tough or violent or whatever. An OG supposed to be a plug. An OG supposed to provide opportunities. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you got some people walking around there, they say they're OGs, but they can't provide opportunities, right? An OG can provide opportunities. That's how I feel. So how are you my OG and you can't provide me an opportunity? If you was a real OG, you would be able to give me an opportunity. So all you have, is people that sit back and they claim to be OG over you, but they do not provide opportunities. I don't feel that. You ain't OG over me. Yeah, you OG over them. You ain't providing me no opportunity, so how you my OG? Man, come on, man. Stop playing with me. That's what I'm saying. I mean, people say it, but, they quick to give people that title. Yeah, I know it's, I understand if, it's a title for, like, older people. Okay, I get that part. But, like, when you're talking about official, like, leaders, the origins of communities, they got to provide opportunities. They can't sit up like, big fat cats being called OGs but not providing no opportunities. Now, that's my personal opinion. Right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what happens is the upcoming guy like me, they'll bring these so-called OGs around me or their team, and they'll feel like I'm obligated to comply with them. But then once they see who I am, guess what? They don't provide an opportunity. So it was a waste of time for me. Because I'm going to live regardless. You know what I'm saying? The prophet is someone that people don't understand. Like, it's the most misunderstood position in America. Because you really haven't had you do have prophets here, but a real prophet would have a big problem with America. Especially an African-American prophet. Yeah, you would have a big problem because it's so, prophets are not only people that prophesy according to the future and things like that, right? They also are what Christians call the mouthpiece of God. So they speak on the behalf of God. They say what God wants to say. And so what do you think God wants to say to a community that has 50 states of gay marriage and 43 states of child marriage? What a prophet can't stay still about these issues. And that's how you know you're dealing with a real prophet, because they're going to bring correction according to your community. They're going to bring the real correction